Ready? Okay. Let's call the meeting to order. Let's have a roll call.
Thank you. Agnes Varnarski,
Present.
Peter Hahn,
Present.
John Kamish,
Present.
Joe Moskow, recording secretary, Dana Syvertson,
Here.
and Ed Madden is on his way. Our quorum is present.
Approval of minutes of the regular meeting of July 13th.
I make the motion we approve the meeting, the minutes as so drawn.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Meeting minutes approved. Let's start with old business. Update on workday schedules for the summer. So seed collection has started. Seed collection season. Our last workday, we were at the sedge meadow collecting a lot of sedge seeds, and we did some teasel management. We'll be working through, as always, between the different sites, between Slough and Morava, but collecting a lot of seeds. We want to start our seed collection Wednesdays. I was thinking of starting it this Wednesday, but there's a big forecast of rain on this Wednesday, so I guess we'll just start it the following Wednesday. But it'll be a good opportunity to collect a lot of seed in addition to our regular work days, so every Wednesday. Wanted to ask Peter.
Wait, question.
Yes.
You said that you were at the Sedge Meadow for seed collection and what management?
Teasel, invasive
Thank you.
teasel.
Always
There's still
teasel.
little pockets. There's been a lot done, and Peter had a big part to do with it, and the interns have been there, and we've cut it, we've herbicided it. When the stop mow order, with the stop mow order, we've had those beautiful milkweeds just spread, and all the sedges spread, and just everything looks great. But we've also had the teasel come up from the seed bank, so we've had to manage for that. The interns have done a great job, both herbiciding and cutting it back. Herbicide didn't take very well for some reason. I don't know, that teasel's tough. Might want to go up on the percentage a little bit. Yeah, and it was big, right? We tried to get a lot earlier on, but that was mostly at the Remnant Prairie. It's just a lot of work. But yeah, seed collection Wednesdays are coming up. Starting not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday.
What do you see as being the rest of the summer?
Seed collection, a lot of seed collection, and some invasive plant control as we can.
Okay. Where and where?
Well, depending on the weather and depending on what needs to be done during the time frame between the Slough and Morava. I mean, we have a scheduled workday coming up, which we'll be talking about over here, so that'll really probably accomplish a lot here.
Do we want to mention Sam's workday in here at this point, or do we want to wait till his update on his project?
I think we could briefly mention it. Well, I don't know, then I think we open the... You guys want to talk about that right now?
Well, if we're talking about summer work schedules.
Okay.
All right, so Sam has requested his scout workday, and this sort of overlaps in and out through the agenda here, that this Saturday is the workday with an alternative date of Sunday in case of rain or all the work isn't done, from 9 to 4 on Saturday the 20th? 19th, and 20th is the backup date. Sam is bringing scouts, he's bringing parents, they're providing lunch, they're going to meet people with breakfast, and we have told them that we would put out our notice to regular volunteers if they're so interested that they could certainly join us for that workday. It's a great cause, so I know I'll be there. Anybody else who's available.
Did you say 9 to 4?
9 to 4 is what Sam had in mind.
And what will they be doing? And where?
They're working solely on the trail.
Trail here or at the
Here
Slough?
at Morava.
Well, I guess we can just open this up to discuss the whole thing right now instead of
Yeah.
leaving it for later.
All right. Well, then we'll fast forward to we'll jump over to new business and the Morava Center Eagle Scout project update. The decision was made to go with the stepping stones and in lieu of the bridge that we couldn't afford. So Sam outsourced sources for the actual stones that we're going to use in the creek. He got recommendations from Lurvies for contractors, He set up appointments for the contractors to meet here, and I met with them with Sam. Sam ran all those meetings. We got quotations from the guys, and we decided to go on Emerald Landscaping, who very generously decided to purchase the stone for us wholesale and then give us an additional 8% discount. And so his whole bid came in at like 1,500 something
Versus almost twice as much
versus twice
Yeah.
as much.
from other
Yeah, it was
contractors.
just for the other landscaper. It was $1,500 for just the work without the stones.
Right,
This is $1,500 with stones.
right.
Yeah.
And so the work that they're going to be doing is they're going to come in and excavate out the creek a little bit, and they're going to put river rock down. Then on each side of the shore, they're going to actually dig into the shore and place 2 stepping stones that will serve as like entrance and exit, depending on which way you're coming, more gradually from the creek bank. And then there'll be 3 in the middle, triangular stones pointed towards the flow with enough space for water to clearly and easily get by.
It's a really great idea too to have that triangular, to have the flow go around the stone. It prevents erosion around the
So
other.
the contractor went and tagged stones that he thought was appropriate. Sam then went to Lurvy's and approved them. Christina has just given me the check for the contractor, and the work is actually going to be done tomorrow morning, starting at 7:15.
Oh, great.
So, and they will be done in one day.
Oh yeah, there's a picture of the stone.
Yeah,
We
I've got the picture printed out.
You guys
It's
have
right over here in
Yeah.
this pack.
seen a picture of
There we
the.
go.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's really nice big boulders.
Yeah.
And I believe they're doing like a little bit of pebbles underneath.
Yeah, they're doing river
Yeah, the
rock
river
underneath
rock.
to stabilize the whole
Sorry,
thing.
that's
So,
That's
Gonna
really
be
great.
over there, the same location?
yeah, same location.
Okay.
Is
So right
anyone
where it comes down from
supervising
the
from
steps.
our group or the?
I will be there. I'm taking tomorrow morning off, and I'll be there. Sam is going to be there. So between the 2 of us, I think we can get it. If anybody's available and wants to come out, that'd be great.
What time are you starting?
7:15.
7:15. Okay.
So that's that part. Now Sam, what his workday is going to consist of is, go ahead.
So we'll start the trail from the high side and come down through the prairie down there, and because the excavators and the bobcats will destroy some of the trail on the high side, getting down there, so we'll restore that first. We were thinking about working on those stone steps. That's a possibility. Maybe planting if there's stuff that needs to be planted. Definitely brush clearing wherever that has to be done. So that should occupy the whole entire day, the whole entire work day.
I think he was
Yeah.
also going to line the rest of the trail
Yeah.
where it's appropriate with wood logs,
With wood-
like John started up there.
Yeah.
And then he's going to fill in between the logs with wood chips.
Wood chips.
And Dino has agreed to get a chipping crew up there and chip up the stuff that's there and deposit the chips up there so that they'll be readily available on site, as opposed to bringing them in from Heron Pond.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we
So-
should have around 40 volunteers. For that.
Wow.
Fingers
That's
crossed.
Oh my gosh. Really?
That's his estimate.
Wow.
Depending on how
Oh my
many
goodness.
PHNRC has, but we're thinking,
Oh my goodness.
you go ahead,
Yeah.
20.
So about 20 scouts and then about 10 family members. Then I invited some people from my golf team also.
Awesome.
So around 40. But
Oh my gosh.
always happens that people don't show up. So that's what we have around right now,
Okay,
estimated.
Wow.
that's great.
And we'll have lunch provided and breakfast as well.
And lunch too.
Yeah, spunky dunkers for breakfast and pork butt for lunch.
Wonderful.
You just hooked that in.
Menu planning.
Wow. Do you need us to bring anything? Snacks, lunch?
We have it all.
Wow.
Tools, yeah.
Tools, yes,
So, like,
absolutely.
Yeah, Sam asked me about tools. I said we would bring wheelbarrows, we'd bring the cart, we'd bring all the rakes, shovels, and
Loppers too.
loppers and things that we have. So,
And then work gloves if you have them
Yeah,
too.
the
And
work
that's just in case you forget to bring them.
right.
Yes, we have plenty of those things, and we have loppers and.
Can you
Yeah, and we'll print out the waivers that need to be signed, right?
Great.
could you repeat again, but go a little slowly, the workday? You said you're going to start where the Bobcat,
Yeah,
start in
tomorrow.
case they destroyed
Yeah.
anything.
So tomorrow on So tomorrow they're gonna come in and they're gonna put the stones in. So I'm assuming it's gonna destroy a little bit of the trail from just some constant up and down from with the Bobcat. So on Saturday we'll start off with that, and then we'll kind of like work our way this way. What I'm hoping on having like two crews, like a high side crew and a prairie side crew, working simultaneously to restoring that side, putting out more wood chips if needed, and then lining it. And then maybe if we can restore those stone steps down to the bridge, the stone bridge, that'd be helpful too. I know we talked about another way of doing it with like the gravel and then like wood planks you were talking about, so we can look at that too, and maybe talk about that if needed.
Yeah, we didn't buy supplies for that.
But
No.
we haven't bought stuff for that yet.
Right.
So-
I think we could help with that.
Well, the thing that we've seen, we've been traveling to several natural areas, and so there's a very easy way to just put a piece of wood plank in front and just level the ground. You know, and I mean, there's so many different ways that we've seen sort of just.
Yeah, I'll give you a drawing later on what we could do. I mean,
Okay.
it's essentially amounts to buying 8x8 aluminized timber, having Agnes chainsaw to the width, and then drilling 2 holes, and they have these big railroad spikes that are like this, and driving those into the ground,
Okay.
excavating it out so it sits level,
Okay.
and then backfilling that so it makes it a nice even step.
Okay.
That's pretty easy to do.
There is, his point though, there is stone material in the ground there that we can be used
Right.
for stepping stones too, and if you want to do that, then all we need is some paver base to level out and set those stones in, and that
Paver
would be
base?
adequate as well. Yeah,
Okay.
and that costs $250 a bag, a 40-pound bag.
And so would we be able to get some supplies and do this on Saturday as well?
Yeah.
Do you think?
I think so. We just
What
have
time,
to-
say, what was that?
Do you think we'll be able to get supplies and get this done by Saturday?
Yeah.
Like be able to do this on Saturday?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, do you
John's
know-
gonna look at this other alternative to those
Okay.
steps,
We'll
right?
see how much
When
stone
we're
is
done.
there. Maybe there's
Okay.
enough to work with to make steps going down.
Okay. So we feel like we can get all this.
It's easy to get paver base. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's,
Alright.
if the material is there, truly in the hillside there, then it's a matter of digging it out
Resetting it.
and resetting it, just so it's level and a
Right.
good step height.
Because those steps were created before.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter
so,
of fixing
I mean,
it up
if
a
the
little
material's
bit.
there, that'll save
Yeah.
everybody money, and it's
Right.
a nice,
Yeah,
it's a nice
that's
look
a-
too.
That's
It'll
great.
match the stones going across the river.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
at the end, could you just give me your contact information so I can talk about this?
Sure.
Thank you.
Anything else about that?
I did want to mention, if there are so many volunteers, and I think that we mentioned to our volunteers, and we're going to put out a shout out, so there might be even 10 or 15 more people for the occasion, in which case we might have a really great turnout and we can do other things as well. And
Yeah.
so I will bring a lot of plants.
Yes.
And so once the trail is laid out, we could put plants along the trails.
Yeah.
Right,
Perfect.
sort of just to,
Yeah.
and then,
It's like we can talk about that later. Like what you wish to do. Like
yeah, so I can bring the plants and then shrubs. We can also plant some shrubs along the trail.
awesome.
Okay.
So,
All right,
we
let's
have those.
jump back up then to St. Alphonsus.
Are we
Sale.
done with the workday schedule for the summer? We're done with
That
this
would be,
topic?
yeah.
oh wait, no, one
No.
more thing. So I was a brownie troop leader reached out to me recently, just a few days ago, and they would like to. They've seen all the changes at the slough, and her daughter is doing a big. I guess they're learning a lot about wetlands, and she's very excited, and she wants to do something and lead her brownie troop to do something at the slough. And so they would like to also have a work day sometime in September. And they're very open to what that work day could entail. It could be planting, it could be cutting brush, a lot of different things, and we hope to have a little educational component there too. I'm gonna meet with her on Wednesday afternoon at 4 at Isaac Walton. So if anybody wants to be there for that. But she wants to also make a big work day with a lot of volunteers to do things at the slough. Sometime in September. It'll probably on an off day from our work day, so it won't be on our work day. I think that's important because if we're gonna, they're second graders, so I know I'm so excited. So it's important to keep it with that age level, and I think that our volunteers would be fine with that, just listening. But I'd like to keep it age appropriate. So if we had a separate work day for that, I think
Would you
would
want to
make
reach
sense.
out to Kids Care and see if they wanted their
To see if they want to
younger
join.
kids? Yeah, because then they want to do something more
Yeah,
too.
well, they did. They'd want to do something in the fall, but maybe they just want to just join, not even as a kid care
'Cause
event.
it's a different site and
Because it's a very similar age group, you're right. I can let them know about it, and if anybody's interested on that weekend, they can just come out and join, not necessarily having it be a kid care event. Yeah, it's a great idea. I'll write that down. What time?
St. Alphonsus.
Okay, so St. Alphonsus reached out to us for help. We all know with their front area there. Yeah.
Do they need to stay?
No, but they
No, we're gonna do a tour after.
Oh, okay.
they'd like to
Talk about
stay to
work
look at
day.
the site
Just
and
wanna
plan.
make sure they think they had to stay.
And I think yeah, we're good there. So St. Alphonsus reached out to us because they have a wetland area that floods very regularly, and they do have some native plants there in the drainage ditch. And I believe it was the pastor that wanted to extend that area because it doesn't mow very easily, and it's just a wetland site. So they did reach out to other organizations for help, and it just seemed pretty complicated to them. So then they reached out to us, and we came out and said, well, we can help you. And we had a really great event. We donated some of our plants, and we only had thousands that we could never plant out on our own. So we donated a couple thousand to them. They had their volunteers and our volunteers we invited, and we all came together and we planted 2,000 plants in that wetland area. And it all looks great. Went well. And I think that they're going to come out on our seed collection work days, and then the seed that they collect, they can then take back to that area and propagate it. So they are putting in the work, and we're sort of just an advisory
It's like a Tully Park deal.
It's like Tully Park, where
It's
they
not
sort
our
of took
project,
over and did everything.
And they were very grateful too. It was a
Yeah.
big
Yes, you
group.
wanna
Yeah.
read that letter into the record?
Right, so I just got a letter today. So I'll just read this letter. It was to me, chairperson, but of course it's for all of us. Dear Ms. Wisnarski, on behalf of St. Alphonsus Liguori Parish, I wish to thank you for your donation of the wetland plants here at St. Alphonsus Liguori Parish. They are a beautiful addition to our parish, and we are very happy to extend the green corridors of Prospect Heights. Your kindness is most appreciated. Yours in Christ, Reverend Curtis Lambert, pastor. That was very nice. Yeah. It was great because they had like 15 volunteers show up from St. Al's and they planted it within an hour. I had planned for like
Yeah.
3 hours. Wish
They
I
do
brought
have
more plants.
they have regular work days where they
Yeah.
work
Monday
on
evening.
parish grounds, so they're gonna that'll be part of their new mantra.
Right. So they can focus some time on the natural areas management there, so that we won't have to provide that. They can work on those areas themselves if need be. Need
Right.
a little more guidance.
Rotary Club.
Right. Rotary Club was supposed to attend one of our work days and
Didn't.
didn't. It's okay. Maybe they're planning in the future. I gave them the dates of our work days. I think it was just supposed to be a couple of volunteers, so maybe they just couldn't make it. Yeah. So,
All right, ComEd site.
of July 18th and outcome.
So I think everybody knows this at this point. The intern representative from Commonwealth Edison came out and walked through our sites with us and was suitably impressed. Suggested that they've changed the rules for applying for grants and recommended that we actually apply again right away. So
Right away.
we'll
the,
do that.
the rules were before that you could only apply as one entity. So that's why 4 years ago we applied as the city, and then 2 years ago we applied as the park district. But that no longer is the case, and you could reapply again. You could reapply for the same project and as the same entity. So we could apply as the city, as the park district, or both. The only stipulation is you have to be completely done with one grant. So you have to have everything, all of your everything done, including the accounting, and that won't, the final report. And so the grant cycle usually, from my recollection, is like March 15th is the deadline for the grant application. And since it's a 18-month cycle on the grant, we would be done providing our things in February, before March basically. So we could do either or. So it's something to consider. I'm not sure, I mean, what we've done in the past is that the city and the park district both contribute $5,000, and we've applied as one entity. Whether we apply as, you know, if there was a project only solely on park district land, then it would make sense that the park district would be funding the match grant.
Is this part of the Green Regions grant?
Yes,
Yeah.
the ComEd Green
So
Regions
is
grant.
this the 10,000 and then the 5 and 5 match?
Right.
That which is a separate?
Yes, yeah.
And
So-
they have a theme this year, and I want to talk to Christine about that too. The theme this year is pollinators. What do you think about the possibility of applying for a portion of Somerset? Does that make sense?
Oh, didn't think about that one.
We can talk about that.
Okay.
Well, basically, we have some time till March to think about it when the grant application, but it's something to start considering what sort of projects can we do? Do we want to continue something that we've already started? Do we want to start on something new? And then who do we ask for depending on where that property is? If it's something that also involves city property, then we can ask the city for the funds.
And the
Otherwise,
Park District may have some ideas where to put
right,
it
the
too.
park district may have some ideas too, where to put that money to good use. And then we could definitely come up with great ideas for that. So, you know, any property, any area, whether it's, you know, anything.
You know, one other thing I think we should consider is that can we apply for multiple grants at
We can.
once? We may want to consider a project on our east side of town that would incorporate the River Trails Park District, which is a completely
Right.
separate entity.
It is.
And, you know, we have another end of our city as well that we haven't really done a whole lot. So perhaps
Yes.
that might be a good idea as well.
Yeah, it's a very sort of underserved
I
community
mean,
too.
I still think we want to serve this
Right.
area as best as possible as well, but
Right.
food for thought.
I like it.
Especially since we can do one with perhaps
Right.
the Prospect Heights Park District and then a separate one with River Trails.
I mean, we can apply for two. I mean, honestly, from her visit, she was very, very impressed. And to us, she said that she's never seen anybody do so much with the money that they've been given. And that's what they want to see. They want to see projects. They want to see that their money was put to good use. And we went beyond that. We went 10 times beyond that. We used our resources, our volunteers, sometimes our own money to further it. And so we really did get a lot done with those grants, and I think that we stand a really good chance of getting them again, even if it was 2 grants. Why
In
not?
fact, as a result of that visit, they've asked her to be
yeah.
a speaker at their next award ceremony.
To show people
Right? And she
what
does
the
so well
success.
at that. But you know what though, it would also help
She's
us.
had a lot of practice.
I guess, yeah.
It would
Had a
help
lot of
us reach out to residents in the other, you know, to expand our volunteer
Yeah.
base as well. If we're doing a project on the east side to,
Especially
you know, do what we can to
involve the youth over
yeah.
there and the kids. And,
get the east side
Right, there's
community
nothing
involved
there.
as well.
yeah.
Now, are you saying that the grant is matched by the city and park district?
It can be matched by any organization. So the grant is usually up to $10,000, and then so it's 50% match. So they give 10,000, but someone has to give 10,000, and whether that's a city, a park district, or some organization, that's where the match comes in.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
Before I forget, this brings me to another, and I'll forward Jill maybe an email to you. I came across a grant that can be applied maybe for St. Al's. It's a really small grant. It's like $500 or $1,000, but it's a pretty easy grant to get, and it's for schools and organizations, and it's also to improve like pollinator habitat and monarchs. So it could be a good seed source. You know, if St. Al's applied for that, they could get 1,000 pounds of seed. You know, or plants.
Great, please do.
So I'll forward that to you. It's not due until September, I believe, but I'll forward that to you. There might be something that they'd be interested in. If they need help writing it, I can certainly help. Or, you know, but it's highly administered.
Okay, Dr. Hilty visit on the 1st through the 3rd. John did make it up, came in on the bus. We picked him up downtown, and he stayed at the Mayor's Hotel, and we had a just spectacular time. The guy is an absolute walking encyclopedia of
plants.
Plants, I mean, any plant you see,
Yeah.
it's like the switch flips and the page comes up from his website in his head,
Yeah.
and he reads it to you.
Just brilliant. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
It was the most incredible experience ever. And his whole goal in coming up was to find plants that
They're very rare.
he knows about, or they're very rare that are not on his website, or they're plants that he has the information on the website but never been able to photograph. So he was extremely successful in doing both of those things. So he was really, really happy.
We took them to sites where you will only see this plant in this area, or you will see it in only 3 areas in Illinois. And so we took him to these sites, and it was very nice
Right,
to
we went
see
to
him
the
excited.
Bola
Bog.
We went to Spring Bluff Fen. We went
Spring
to
Bluff
Lake in the Hills Fen,
Fen.
which is a hanging fen. Both of those are just spectacular. I mean, Spring Bluff Fen is just a remarkable place, just totally crazy.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And we took him to the gravel prairie at Poplar Creek, and then he walked through our sites here as well.
Really enjoyed.
He had a really great time. He'll be back. He will definitely be back. And hopefully more people will be able to be free to come with us and do it. Because it's really an experience. Really an experience. So. That's it.
Did the intern go with you?
What's that?
Did the intern go with you?
He did on the second day.
Second day, yeah.
Good learning experience.
Yes,
Great.
yes, he did.
Jeremy was already done by then, so
Right.
Jeremy, and he was working his last job, so visitors.
Yeah, the squirrels are already
Yeah. Packing
getting
away.
their
Yeah.
food
Yeah.
ready for the winter.
All right, new
Very
business.
New business. Summer interns progress report.
Okay, you want me to do it? You wanna
Yeah,
do
go
it?
ahead. Go ahead.
All right,
Yeah.
Jeremy has already gone back to school. He left Saturday morning. Totally grateful, totally an outstanding individual. Got so much out of this. He knows now that he really wants to go into natural resources management. He's a senior now, so he'll be graduating at the end of the year. So if he is available and we have internship next year, we'd certainly want to
And he's
offer
shown
to him
interest.
again.
Definitely.
But he is just custom made for this. I mean, just so.
He's such a hard worker.
Yeah.
And he's very, very smart. Very smart. Picks things up like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, what I love is to know that they go home and study these things. Because,
She started every morning with like
Yeah.
a classroom situation where they're actually going through and identifying plants and
we go through plant families,
Making,
botanical terminology,
making
the
flashcards
keys,
and that sort of thing.
so that they can actually see a plant that they have no idea what it is and go
Key it
through the
out.
motions, key it out, use a book, and find out exactly what that plant is, which is a pretty good tool to be able to have because sometimes it can be
A
confusing.
lifelong
So,
skill.
yeah, and they got really interested in it. I mean, they know close to 400 plants,
Yeah.
which
Amazing.
is a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah, and by botanical name too.
398 more than me.
But they know the botanical name of the plant and the plant family.
That is 400.
Yeah.
So,
And they also know the management too. So they've learned a lot about what sort of management techniques you can use. I mean, not only herbiciding, but other things, depending on whether the plant's a biennial or annual or perennial, and how they react and how they are in the environment, and what sort of conservation, how sort of important are they or not. So we had a really good time. They're great kids.
Aaron is on vacation this week with his parents. He arranged with us to take this week off and then work next week. will
For his
be
last week.
Last week, which is okay.
Did we confirm that that's for sure that's many weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Right? Because I haven't, we confirmed that he still has 7 more days of work.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least I did. I don't know if it
Told me
was.
he's done on the 25th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure that was the end of the 10 weeks. So you checked on that and okay. Yeah. So 1 more week. we have.
Exit gifts. Agnes gave them a copy of Joel Greenberg's book on the Chicago.
Natural history of the Chicagoland region.
Right, and I got them each a loop.
So because
all
we
set.
use the loop to look at the plants, because
Yeah.
sometimes you have to look specifically at the flowering structure to identify the species. So they can take that loop and go on if they want to
The
learn
bottom
more on
line
their own.
is, once again, the whole experience was just absolutely outstanding for them and us.
Mhm.
We had a lot of work done.
Yeah, a lot of work. My gosh.
Okay, we need to speed this up a little. We've already done the Nature Center project.
Yeah.
The interpretive signage and features update. I've reached out to this company that Christina recommended. Has some really great stuff. I'm still waiting on pricing. And then when we were on the tours with Dr. Hilty, we also
We took
fa-
pictures of all the
came across
interpretive signage
of
that
all
we
the
saw.
signage there, and I've
Yeah.
reached out to those people,
Right.
and they're sending me pricing and other information. And then we have the little side project for Sam and his group of tagging individual plants and how we were going
Right.
to do that. And so we had talked
And
about
I
some
don't know, are we still
suggestions.
going to?
So, with the interpretive signing and tagging and stuff like that, that was not in the project outline that I presented to the troop.
All right.
So, I still like to do that because we talked about that since the beginning, interpretive signing. So, I like to do that on my free time, like my outside of my Boy Scout time with you guys. So, be
Is
a
that
part
between 12 midnight and 2 a.m. on a given day?
of that. Do you see me going?
Well, Sam, we have some other alternatives. They're pretty easy. So.
For you. I still like to be a part of this, but just not. It won't be
Yeah.
a part of the project.
That's
Okay.
fine. That's fine.
All right,
Totally
no
fine.
problem. No problem.
All right, so we should have some more.
When you first talked about doing
yeah.
like a homemade thing,
Right.
That could have been a part of it
Yep.
Yeah.
because it would have been going quicker. But like this, like not saying it's going slow because it's kind of important. It's kind of like gotta be right, done right. If it's not done right, it's just don't do it at all.
We
And
found
so-
some small little stainless steel industrial ones that's made specifically for tagging trees and plants. They're all stainless steel. They don't rust, and they're weatherproof.
Are they the ones like you nail into like the little?
No, they're a big long U-shaped staple that you pound into the ground, and the sign slides up the two
So it
legs of the
just
staple.
sits in front of a
And then
plant,
you
basically.
almost like a garden marker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a garden marker.
Something
Yes,
similar
yes.
to that.
Okay.
So
but-
something like that. They're $1.40 a piece.
But
so
then there
something
were
like
other
that.
ideas about including some
Oh.
natural elements of the wood engraved.
Yeah. If we can get that tagging done by Saturday, then we can do that.
No,
But
it's
it-
not going to happen.
But if not, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely won't happen.
Because I thought we were going to have a brainstorming session
Yes.
on this.
Right.
Right.
I did do some research
Oh,
on
awesome.
recommendations
Okay.
on what to use and what to say and what
Oh,
conditions
that's-
and
we
what
need
the
that.
purpose is.
Yeah.
So when we get to that,
Yeah.
Okay, we might as well do it right now.
Yeah. Sure.
well, no, we're losing daylight. We can wait on that. We can wait on this, can't we?
Well, you want to do it at the end?
If we have time. Sure.
Okay, but we really need. I mean, we got to sort of start to move on that interpretive signage until through December. We should have it all squared away. It should at least be ordered to December because we have to expend our funds by December. So we still have a little bit of time on this. We don't necessarily have to install the interpretive signage right away, but we have to.
What the heck?
Very big
It's
budget.
an alderman.
How many legs did it have?
Dana, could you check out this company?
Yes, I can.
Okay. They did work at the Morton Arboretum,
Okay,
and she seems to be really good with nature.
okay.
Oh, okay.
What's the name of
Sounds
it?
great.
For signs.
For signs, yes.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, absolutely, I will.
I think we should spend a significant portion of our next meeting
On the
and
signs.
before our next meeting emailing back and forth. Emailing things back and forth, everything that everybody's accumulated so that everybody can take a look at it, see it, Jill, what you have and what everybody else has found. And so we can all have time to review it individually.
Okay.
And then when we come back together at the next meeting, like we really spend a significant portion on putting a plan together and we'll have estimates and we'll email this back and forth so we'll have estimates and really have a nice plan for this.
Okay.
Yeah?
Sounds good.
All right, so we'll bypass the brainstorming session for right now.
Just until the end if we have time. Right. Okay.
Okay, SLU presentation for Nature Speaks in September. All right, so I apologize to everyone. I'm derelict in getting the information out. I gave you the historical info that I had. Basically, what we were looking to do here is the exact same thing we did with the wild things. It's the exact same format. exact same sort of presentation. We have a lot of that information that can very easily be recycled for this purpose. We were thinking that to make it really easy on us, that we would talk about the same sort of area that we spoke about in the Wild Thing, but distill it a little bit more directed and focused towards the slough, with the addition of Jill doing the historical presentation. So she's been working on collecting information. I've got a good amount of historical photographs. I've got a couple of neighbors in the neighborhood that are trying to dig up some additional historical photographs. So at point X, when we have that, then I'll communicate that stuff over to you. The formatting would be the same way. You know, take the area that you're going to be working on and work on your text, just like you did last time, and then get the text to me, and then we'll illustrate it with either your slides or
We should
collected
meet
slides.
like we did
Or
last
should-
time
yeah, we
a couple
should
of
meet
times
a
to
couple
go
of times.
to go through our plans. You know,
It
maybe
would be nice if we could practice in the actual room,
Yeah.
yeah, yes.
so, and
definitely.
make sure that the equipment works and.
Right.
Yeah,
don't
we
have-
could we could attempt to do that. Sure.
We don't have a lot of time. I mean, this is basically in a month. So
That's but we're not starting from ground zero either.
no,
I mean, we've
yeah,
got
you're right. But we
a boatload of this stuff.
you know, we should we need to still
Because we need to
compile
have the
everything.
timing about switching out speakers and
Yeah.
format.
How much?
So what I've got is an outline that I started, which I'll send on to everyone. And basically, it starts with me just giving the introduction and introducing the speakers, talking about what they're going to talk about. Then goes into Jill doing the history. And then I thought I would talk about the starting point of the slough and show those photos we have of the buckthorn infestation, the teasel infestation. Then it would go to Ed, and I thought a little bit of shift on your focus would focus more on the work that we were actually going to do there, and the fact that we got the grant and what the grant provided.
Right.
Okay.
And a little bit of outreach and how you know maybe how we got.
And then it
volunteers
goes
and
through Agnes to discuss what the master plan was, and go more in depth into what was actually done, and then of course the slides of the progression and all that stuff, and then over to John to talk about the impact on wildlife and nature and all the rest of that stuff, and the sheer volume of residents that actually uses. I mean, last night
yeah.
there was
Sunday.
no parking on
Yeah,
Willow. You
on
could not
Willow
park
Road.
on Willow Road. There
No
was no parking
kidding.
on
I've
both
never
sides of the
seen so
street.
many cars and so many
It's
people.
insane.
People were picnicking, they were fishing, and there was like 30 cars lined up on Willow Road. And people couldn't find parking. They were like trying to go on the side street.
Good fishing?
I guess.
I don't know. I don't
Get
know what
those
they're
carp.
possibly.
Well, there was
catching.
like 30 herons and egrets out there too.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many.
On
All
the
the time.
on the lake side, there's supposed
Yeah.
to be really good like carp. There's supposed
Carp?
to be a lot of
Oh,
Yeah, we have
good.
lots of
Good.
carp.
Yeah.
Get the
I
carp.
don't
The
know
more-
if it's really good carp, but
Oh,
Have all you can eat.
all you can eat.
all you can eat carp. All
Take it all. Don't throw it back.
Are you going
Yeah, right.
to synchronize how much time we each have to speak?
Yeah,
to get
because
that
we have
done?
1 hour totally. So as soon as I can get more specific about this, and then hand that out, and then
And it doesn't have to be like one person could speak for 15
No,
minutes, another
no.
25 minutes, depending on the content.
try to
and-
keep it all equal, and
Yeah.
then Q&A that everyone will participate
An hour is a long time though.
No, it's not.
in. No, it's not.
It is not.
For some people.
Ed could fill an hour by himself.
Seriously, I mean, it may seem like it on
Yeah.
the beginning, but if you break it down, how many speakers do we have presenting?
5.
5.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
12
right.
minutes each.
Peter, are you sure you
know-
don't want to be involved?
But I mean, in general,
Well, I
that's
have
12
the time.
minutes
Peter can
each, and
switch
just the
the
history
slides.
alone, just the history alone, you
Yeah.
know, could cover
Right.
more
I could
than that,
speak
and
fast.
showing the photos.
It'll be plenty of time. It'll be
Yeah.
the perfect amount of time.
Yeah.
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 Great.
How long was the Wild Things presentation? I forget. Was that 20 minutes or something?
It's like 30 or
Yeah.
30. Well,
Well,
had
we
more
had
time.
a double session. We had
We had a double
45
session because
minutes.
somebody
Oh, okay.
canceled.
We-
45
We
minutes.
filled that.
We filled
did.
40 minutes and then
Right.
5 minutes of
Alright.
Q&A.
Okay,
It'll be,
we're good. So, got to start really work on that over the next month. Coming
All
up.
right, so I will get stuff to you guys.
Did you mention about GDA Nole?
It's all coming.
Oh, okay.
All right, so the journal articles, again, anybody's got anything? go ahead. Dr. Hilty, in typical fashion, did not approve the last article yet, so it was pulled from July and stuck into August. So that article will be there. We'll have the summer interns wrap up. We'll have information about Sam's project.
Anything else? that
Anybody's
comes
got
up?
anything else? I mean, we just got to do something about the increase of birds at the slough. I mean, that's just,
Oh my gosh.
that is absolutely insane. And we have the bird walks coming up, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
there'll be announcement
There's just,
of
I mean, the
those,
wood
and then
ducks, there's probably
our
like
talk.
40
Who
wood
hosts
ducks.
those?
It's just,
Who
it's
hosts the walk?
unbelievable. It's,
Bird Conservation Network.
yeah, Bird
But is
Conservation
it the
Network.
same person?
No, it's Park District. It's through the Park District, but it's Lee Ramsey and Mary Lou
But I'm
Miller.
wondering if Lee might be able to, like, give us a summary of any differences they've noticed.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah, they do
monitor
it,
while we're doing the bird
Right,
walks.
well, my point
They
is for
rate
the
it.
article, if
Oh,
they
yeah.
could
Oh.
give us a summary of things
Right.
that they've,
Yeah, they
the
will.
Notice the
changes
increase,
they've
their
noticed,
comments from them.
and we can
Yeah.
build an
That's
article
great.
right off of that.
That would
Okay.
also help John with his content. too.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, no problem. Speaker request for the garden club. Remember they asked you to speak? Hello.
Yes, they did. They did ask me to speak in
Hubba,
February.
hubba, hubba.
Forgot. They did. Oh my gosh. I mean, I responded, and yes, I'm very interested in speaking. But yeah, they requested a little bit more information from the PHNRC, and we could all do this together, a couple of us, whoever's available. But it's not until February during a regular scheduled meeting, and they just feel like they don't know everything about the PHNRC and all the great work that we're doing. And it was, I believe it was actually Kathy Nowicki that suggested this, that had someone approach her from the garden club and ask that we speak at one of their
That's
events.
a great idea.
Yeah, it really is. So, but that's not until February. Still have time.
Okay.
Still in the planning phase, so I have to just make sure.
Jill, McDonald
Yes,
Creek.
I attended the McDonald Creek Commission meeting of July 25th. They have prepared a mission statement. They're working on their goals. They're attempting to meet with the new Public Works Director, Mark Roscoe, to introduce the McDonald Creek Commission, indicate their purpose, and invite him to a meeting. They're building a web page on the city's website, not a separate website. They're preparing their introduction to the community through submission of an article for the city's fall newsletter. They will be making a presentation at the City Council workshop meeting either early September or October, and their next meeting is Tuesday, August 22nd at 6 p.m.
Okay. Does anybody think they're free to pick up that meeting? I think that the idea would be to rotate it. I've done one, she's done one. If anybody else is available and can pick up one of those
What time is that
meetings.
meeting?
6 p.m. on August 22nd.
Right now I can make it.
Okay.
John will go?
Yay.
I will, yeah, I'll let you know if I get out.
It's
And
at
they usually
the
meet in the
Sounds
police
good.
station, I believe.
police department downstairs conference room.
Okay.
Police station.
Thank
Then
you,
if you
Jill.
can't, let me know. I'd actually like to reach out to them with my suggestion of organizing a creek walk with them, specifically to identify blockages.
Well, they were talking about that. I didn't want to
Okay.
take up everything, but they did say something that they have to do another survey. There's 2 people on there that were on the original.
Creek
Your
walks?
binder,
Yeah.
their binder was at the meeting, which I looked through.
Yeah.
Wait,
Jan
let me
Fuller
see.
was always.
Rick Hartley?
Yeah,
And
Hart.
Jan
right.
Fuller.
And Jan Fuller. She
Jan
was on the
Fuller.
original Creek Committee.
Really,
Right.
very knowledgeable. But
Yeah.
they
Yes.
were talking about
So actually,
survey.
2 of those, Kathy Brady and Jan Fuller, have participated in creek walks before when we had the Friends of McDonald Creek. But it's a really great way to
Kathy
just
is
walk
actually our
in.
frog monitor. So.
She's our friend, yeah.
Well, it
Small
sounds
world,
like
but-
they're planning it, but I think it would still help for us to
Yeah.
just be
Sure.
connected in some way.
Right,
Yeah.
that's why we
Yes,
want to
that
have
was-
at least one person at every meeting.
Yeah, I kept emphasizing that
Right.
to them.
Also, real quick, I don't know if you guys know about this. We got an email from at info.com or info@phnrc.com from a resident who was asking if we knew what this filtering was going on in the creek, and I had no idea. And I
I didn't know
reached out and
anything
started asking, and only to find out that in the destruction of the old bank building, they severed an
Oh, you're talking
oil
about by
main.
Tully Park?
Right, and so there was oil in the creek, so they've set up these filters all
Yeah.
the way down.
They look like a sock that
Right.
you use for blocking air from the
right.
door.
Right.
Yeah.
So those things are like maybe every 100 feet apart.
Well,
something
not
like that.
even.
Not even.
Probably 20 feet.
All right,
You
so
see
that's
all
it.
the plants along the creek that
I
are
did.
planted? It's like a forest.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really took off.
Terrific.
New items I want to add to the new business. DDA Nolay show. DDA is the French landscape painter who's doing a series of works based on the slough. That show will open to the public on September 1st in conjunction with the 60th anniversary of the library. And that's why we're speaking in September, because Terry wanted to keep it a local theme as part of the celebration of the library. DDA will have probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 pieces. They're oil pastels and small paintings that were done based on impressions from the slough. They're really nice, really
Very
nice.
I mean, some of them you can tell exactly where you're standing. I mean, where he was standing when he painted it, because it's just
And then
Very nice
he will have a reception at the library on September 7th. And that will start at 6:30. There'll be refreshments, and he's going to give a brief talk about the work. All right, and then furthering that, you guys all saw the photos from David Ludwig. I did reach out to Terry, and she does have a slot for him, but it's limited. It's 2 walls in the library. And
Can I say who that is?
would not be until October the 18th. Now, David is a Tully Park regular, and he always comes with his wife to every nature speak there is. He's been an amateur photographer for 35 years. I had no idea that he did this. If you see those photos,
Just beautiful.
in
Really.
real size,
photos.
they're phenomenal, just phenomenal stuff. So he is very much interested in it. The library is interested in it. So unless someone has objections, I would say that we proceed forward with him for October the 2018.
I think it's a great idea.
October the 8th or 18th?
No, October 2018.
18th, got it.
Oh,
And is he doing a presentation or just to showcase his photos?
It would just be the 2 outside walls in the library, entry of the library, whereas DDA is all the walls available. His stuff is just, and his theme is going to be the flora and the fauna of the slough. So you can see him out there now shooting these things, and he's shooting lots of flowers and other insects and things. So he's really
really beautiful photos.
really been working
Amazing.
on it.
Our
Well,
Prospect
they're
Heights
beautiful even
resident.
in just little,
Yeah.
little prints here.
Just would be great to have that showcased and have the library.
The last thing, no, two more items. Burns, and this goes back to
Right.
the ComEd. We just confirmed with Sarah Race that, Peter, this is something you should be interested in too. We just confirmed with Sarah Race that ComEd does have the prairie on schedule for a
Right.
burn this fall.
ComEd does?
Yes.
And they funded
It's
it.
budgeted for, it's on the
budgeted for,
schedule, they're
and
gonna
as-
do it this
As
fall.
soon as they know when, they're going to let us know.
Okay.
So I don't know, Peter, if we could talk about later if you want to get some advance notice out to
Right.
residents and maybe
Yeah. Like,
Because-
whoever your contact is at ComEd, give them our information,
Right.
or at least my information,
right,
so that
Okay.
they can contact us once they know,
yeah,
because we will want to put information.
right.
We could do something a little earlier, because it could be like the day before that they know
Yeah, I
when
mean, they're not
coming.
going to know until last minute, but we could
But we could-
certainly,
They say sometime in September,
Yeah,
sometime
Right.
in October.
Yeah,
yeah.
We can get that information.
right.
okay, cool.
So Christina,
And then our last,
Christina, you forwarded that, or you told Christina about it. ComEd has put us on the budget, and they have promised to burn in the fall. So it's set in stone. They're gonna burn the prairie. The ComEd
burn.
prairie, burn. They're gonna burn it. They've got contractors.
just the east prairie, not the
right,
west prairie.
just the east side. And then we're gonna go in and
Immediately
seed it.
seed it, yeah.
Immediately, maybe not immediately, but yes, very soon after seed it. But it's all budgeted. It's on their time schedule, so there's gonna be a fall burn by their contractors. Yeah. We're gonna have to send out notices to the residents, and we're gonna work with Peter to do that.
Okay, last item, trail markers. There it is. This is a little bit oversized, but this is the sort of the final solution that we came up for the natural trail markers that we were planning to do around all the sites. And so the idea would be that they're 5 inches by 8 inches is the final size. A post gets set in the ground and then it bolts 2 bolts through the sign. This is working with Christina. We came up with that solution to that, and so
Then it's not labeled, it's not called anything, but it's marking a natural trail.
and it's ubiquitous, so it can be used anywhere, and we can order more. So, if anybody unless someone has objections, I'll work with Peter then to get those ordered.
The
These
only
would
thing
come
I
out of
would
our
ask
budget.
is, I'm just thinking about the possibility of adding arrows on it where it would show that this is the trail
Oh,
going through
Like
there.
this way?
So, like for instance, 2 upward arrows here at the beginning of where the trail begins.
And if there's any
I don't know if
corners, you would
think
have an
it's
arrow going this
necessary,
way.
But I think
Yeah, but
it
as
would
soon as
be-
you start putting in directional arrows, then you got specific signs, and it's a different file, and you got to keep track of all that. And the idea was to make something that's just ubiquitous, and it could go
I think
anywhere.
if it marks the trailhead on either end and maybe somewhere in the middle, it should be fine.
Okay.
I mean, the trails that we have are pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, they're just a little bit hidden, so this
Yeah.
will sort of get it out there.
Yeah, because the arrows will, like you said, it's just
Right.
complicated a little bit.
How big are those signs?
They're
You
a
said
little
5
bit
inches
smaller
by
than
8
this. It's 5 inches by 8.
Perfect.
So it's it's narrower, just like a vertical
On a
trail marker.
post and.
Good.
just
Okay,
tell
cool.
people
Then
about
I'll
it.
work with Peter on that. That's it.
And that's going from our
That's from our regular budget.
regular budget, okay. And it's going to all our sites still. And we don't know what the cost of that is yet.
Yeah, we do. We have a bid. I don't remember what it is, but we have a bid,
Okay.
and we approved it. So,
Okay, we approved it at the last meeting. After
so
that,
I
Need a
just want to
motion?
look at. We might want to,
sure, we could do a motion, sure, if we,
Wait a minute, we need visitors' comments, don't we?
yeah,
Oh,
a motion for the trail markers, or no?
No.
no, visitors.
visitors comments.
But do we need we don't need a motion for the trail marker approval, or?
No,
we
everybody's.
don't. Everybody's
I said-
approved? We are,
We already approved it.
alright. Visitors comments?
comments? The cicadas have a few.
Yeah, there's a lot of visitors in the area.
Well, then I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that emotion.
All in
All in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No. Thank you.
Motion carries.
We didn't do the,